welcome if you are new. If not, welcome back. I'm so glad you could join me today. We just finished up our 2021 school year. We still have a few things we're kind of working on over break, but nothing too serious. More fun stuff. We usually take off the entire month of June pretty much. So we actually finished a week earlier than planned. Thank you, COVID, because we spent a lot more time at home this school year. No co-op or anything like that. So we were home a lot and we're able to work pretty much 5 days a week. So today's video I have for you is about my oldest. She just completed 7th grade. So I'm going to be showing you what we did this past year and kind of talk about each of those. I will do a little flip through as well and just talk to you about what we're going to be maybe continuing on next year, if we're going to change anything, just what our plans are there. So let's get to it. First, we're going to talk about math. So this year she did Principles of Mathematics, Book 1. This is from Masterbooks. This is like her student book, basically the lessons. And then there is the teacher's guide, which has all the worksheets, test, answer key, all of that stuff. It has been amazing. So my oldest has never been one to like math. She would rather read, which there is a lot of reading in this for a math curriculum. So I look at it, I think of it as, so if she were in a public school or in school, there would be a teacher teaching a lesson. So instead of someone teaching the lesson, she's just reading the lesson herself. So it seems like a lot of reading. You're like, why do you have to read this much for math? But so instead of getting a lesson from a teacher, she's just reading it herself. But she really, really, really enjoyed this so much. She always had questions of why. Like, why does this work this way? Why do we do this equation to find that out? Why do I have to divide that? It seems like you should multiply, or whatever it is. Like, she always had these questions, and a lot of times I'm like, I don't know. That's just the way it is. That's just how math is. So this curriculum answered so many of those questions. And like, she would read a lesson so often and she'd be like, oh, well, now I get it. And it totally made sense to her. And there were so many real life applications. One of the really cool assignments, there are actually two, I believe. There were actually two like writing assignments, which I thought was really cool, like to incorporate that. And but one of them was cool, was to pick like an occupation and do research about how that person uses math in their everyday, in their occupation. So I thought that was really, really cool. And she chose a librarian. And so we researched that about how a librarian uses math. It shows like the Egyptian system. So that was really cool. Like just something that you don't get out of a lot of other math curriculums. We made I'm going to hopefully say this right, a quipu from South America. A quipu, maybe that's it. So we actually all made those, and it was, they would tie these knots and strings, and the knots would represent different things. They may have used it to, in trade, or just to mark time sometimes. I thought it was really interesting and definitely not something you would typically learn. So that was really fun. So each of the kids like made one of those. Of course, it talks about Roman numerals, but it also goes into the binary system, which I knew nothing about. So it was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a great curriculum. It is a Christian curriculum, and that is very integrated into it. So if that's not something you're looking for, then I don't necessarily recommend it. So yeah, but it's really good. If a Christian curriculum is okay with you, then I highly recommend this for 7th grade. There is a Principles of Mathematics 2, and we will be doing that next year for 8th grade. Okay, for grammar, we used Fix It Grammar again. This was our 3rd year using it. I highly recommend it. It's really good. I think it's such a different approach to grammar. As far, for higher grades, and not just diagramming sentences and stuff, which I always found annoying. So basically there's a sentence each day. And so this is the teacher's guide, so it has all the marks. So basically a student would be making all of these marks in their book. Which the cool thing is that if you buy the teacher's guide, you get a free download of the student book. So, and this is less than $20. So price is great. So yeah, they would be making all these marks. At the top of the student page, like up here, it would tell them what they're looking for the week. Because it does change. So this starts off very simply at the beginning. So basically they mark whatever they're looking for. They mark whether it needs to be indented. They look for subject verb pairs, prepositional phrases. They look for anything that needs to be capitalized, misspellings. There's homophones, things like that. So I'll show you like some towards the end where we're like super long. Like this is from week 25. It's pretty long and a lot of stuff to mark. So it does get progressively harder throughout the year, and each level gets progressively harder as well. Like I want to say, like they say to start I want to say like grades 4 to 12, and everything that I've read, they say always start with the first book. It's hard to jump in like in the middle, from what I understand, and I could definitely see that. We started in 5th grade, which I think was a perfect time. She had already had a really good grasp of grammar as far as like parts of speech and stuff like that. She had done a Becca for a couple of years, and I think that gave her a great base. But I think if you started, as long as they have you got to have some base knowledge, I think. So, and you would assume by 4th grade, you would have had introduction to at least the parts of speech, nouns, verbs, things like that. So we have decided she's not going to be doing Fix It Grammar for 8th grade. And not because we don't enjoy it. I think we're going to be incorporating kind of a spelling / like Greek Latin root word study instead. I think she has a great grasp on the grammar, and I think we're okay to not do it for a year. What else did I want to say? Oh, I didn't say this. So after the student does all these markings, they can either write by hand or type out the corrected sentence. And at the end of the school year, they have an entire story written. And it's so quick. Like I would say max, sometimes she would wait till the end of the week to type it all. But if she was doing it that day, like the day we corrected it, max 15 minutes. Sometimes less. So it's really short, really simple, but very thorough. And she's definitely learned a lot from it. So we really like this one. All right. Fix It Grammar is from IEW, or the Institute for Excellence in Writing. So also from them this year, we started one of their themed writing books. We did medieval history based writing lessons. So for IEW, you're supposed to do a like teacher course. I did not do that. I did a lot of research to figure out if I felt confident enough to be able to do this thoroughly without having to do that, and I feel pretty confident that we're okay. We have, obviously we've been using Fix It Grammar for a few years. So looking at the writing curriculum and looking how they have the student put in the different, what they call dress-ups, which could be ly adverbs, who, which clauses, because clause, things like that. She's been doing those types of things in here. So I felt confident that she understood what all of those were and how they were used, and especially like punctuation used with them. She was doing really well with that. So I felt confident in that. And just after just watching a lot, I was like, I think even if maybe there's some little thing that I'm missing, I still think it's being, I definitely think it was effective. Even, yeah, like even if I'm just missing something, that maybe I'm not doing that I should be. I still feel confident in what we're doing. One thing I love is everything is all laid out for you. And it also comes with literature suggestions. So that's what we have been using for literature this year as well. So she's been reading along some of those books, and we've been doing various things, whether a book report or just answering questions, things like that, what she's been reading. Yeah, so there's source. So it depends on what they're learning about. So this is the first lesson. It is, there's basically a paragraph about the Middle Ages, and it's teaching them how to write a keyword outline, to rewrite the information, and then they have to rewrite their own paragraph. It does have, each week has, let's see, that one doesn't. The first week does not have a checklist, but there's a checklist so that, so my daughter, as she does her rough draft, she'll go through and kind of mentally check these off in her head. But then when she goes to write her final, she'll actually go and check these off. So she handwrites her rough draft and then types her final. And then I use, so this is the teacher book, but in her book, we'll actually mark it off and grade it. So so there is like a whole thing where they're supposed to turn it in, like with the checklist, final draft, rough draft, keyword outline, like all turned in together. But I'm like, I'm not ripping all the pages out of her book. So she just she sticks her rough draft and her final into her book. And, as long as it's all there and done, I check it off. So some lessons will also have some different like practice worksheets for whatever style it's introducing. It also has vocabulary words. Let's see if you could see on the schedule that each lesson has a list of vocabulary words. So that's part of the writing too, is in, putting the vocabulary words into your writing. And it also has vocabulary quizzes. So it's kind of reinforcing her history, because that's what she was learning, history. It has the styles, which it goes along with her grammar, and the vocabulary words. So it has some vocabulary in there, and she's actually having to use the vocabulary and stuff. So I think that's really helpful. And we also used it for literature this year. And so I also plan to do the same for next year. We are going to be doing modern history writing, and the same thing, using the book list in there to grab books. And I think there's a couple other books that I'm going to put in just based on the time periods, like books that I think she would like better or that I want her to read. But we're going to be doing the same thing, just using that literature list for the year. So again, so obviously we're going to be using this again. I love it. Like I said, they want you to do a teacher course before doing it. So I think that's up to you. I think it's definitely possible to do it without. I have seen her writing just take off, and she's doing so well. Like I mentioned about her math, I noticed she was using those techniques and stuff that she learned from here when she was doing her math papers. When she was writing a book report, I noticed things that she was putting in there. Like, she really learned a lot from this, and so I'm very happy with it. And I think do your research if you feel that if you feel confident that you could teach it, I say give it a shot. Yeah, we really, really enjoyed this. So we'll be doing this again. All right, the last thing, which we haven't finished either, is World Story 2, the Middle Ages. So this is from Masterbooks, just like her math. And we just go through like science and history slow. We don't do it every day. Especially because I still read it aloud to her. She's an auditory learner. And it really helps her to comprehend the information if I'm reading it. So to do everything else with her and my 8-year-old, all the basics, and then have to do this as well, and also read to my 8-year-old, it's a lot. So we work our way through it kind of slowly, but then when we do a lesson, like we could do a lesson in a day. Like we could go through one chapter and all the activities in one day. But we are enjoying it, and we will move on to World Story 3 next school year when we're ready. We have two more chapters to finish, and then we're halfway through. So we'll get there. This is like the reading part, like the lessons. I love the photographs. They're just gorgeous. I will do a flip through after I do this part. I'll do like a flip through so you could see it a little bit better. There's just gorgeous photographs, paintings. There's so much really cool information in here. And I've learned so much that I never knew. So that's really cool. There's also a workbook as well, which I don't know where I think that's in the other room. That has all the worksheets and activities and things like that. So I'll show you that in the flip through. Like I said, we're going to be continuing this. We really enjoyed it. Okay, so that was my 7th graders curriculum from this past school year. Science will be a whole nother video because we do that all together as a family. And yeah, I think that was everything. And so pretty much IEW and Masterbooks. And we'll be continuing all of those for next year, except for we're not going to be continuing Fix It Grammar, but that's just because we made that choice. We may go back to it for 9th grade. I don't know yet. We'll see what's happening then and what we want to do as far as school goes, but we're not doing it because we don't like it. I actually really, really enjoy it, and I can't wait till my youngest can start it. I think it's a really, really great curriculum. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want any more information, or if you have any questions about anything, please comment down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. That'd be awesome. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.